I'm Gab. He's Jules. Grey skies over West London, but certainly not grey in our hearts because the Champions League is back. I think it's been tremendous. You see some ridiculous goals. There's more to come Thursday night. Yeah. It's been fantastic. But we're going to start. Oh, and by the how could I leave this out? Most importantly, the Champions League is back. Jose Mourinho, very close to being back. That's very true. We think. Let's start at Anfield. They go 2-0. Liverpool go 2-0 up against Atletico Madrid straight away.
Yeah.
Bit of luck on the first one. Second one, tremendous goal. Everything's great. And then weirdly, Marcos Llorente scores twice, and it's 2-2. And they need yet another late winner.
Yeah.
I think it's 5 wins in 5 this season between Premier League and Champions League. The earliest winner came in the 83rd minute. The latest winner came in the 10th minute of injury time against Newcastle.
Yeah.
This is not the plan, yeah?
No, yeah, and I don't know how sustainable it is, really. You can't keep having to score late to win matches. And as we've been saying, they would be better as a team going forward once the new players and now Isak as well have integrated and all of that. I guess you show character, and it's probably better to have that kind of trait in your team to never give up and always believe that you can score until the end, all that kind of stuff. It's probably better to have it. It's just not good when you, in a way, rely on it too much because they should have been 3-0 up and the game should have been gone way before the second goal from Marcos Llorente, where they, again, defensively were a bit shaky. It's like the fourth time now this season that they conceded at least 2 goals. The first time last season where they conceded 2 goals, so the first game last season where they conceded goals was in October. So there's something wrong defensively in terms of balance and how much their defense is exposed. But yeah, at some point, they can't always have to score late. It's not going to work.
Yeah, and by the way, on the Atletico Madrid front, Atletico Madrid had a horrendous start to the season, 3 games without winning. They did win at the weekend. I think there was a little bit of luck involved in that. They come here without Julien Alvarez, without other options other than Nico, and obviously Alex Baena still out, Thiago Almada out, Jimenez out at the back. Hansko on the bench for reasons I didn't fully understand.
He's coming back from injury.
Which when we were served up more Langlais.
Yeah.
So you're not hitting prime Atletico Madrid in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, definitely.
Marcos Llorente scoring 2 goals. Of course, he famously scored 2 goals. I think it was a round of 16 game. I think it was the last game before COVID shut down the Champions League.
Yeah.
And by now you probably heard the stats. Everybody repeated it. He scored something like half his Champions League goals at Anfield.
Yeah,
which is pretty remarkable.
Goals and
so the joke is, they should sign him.
Well, yeah. I don't know. I like him a lot, for like a former kind of midfielder, attacking midfielder to play right back now. And in a very special right back role, really, because he's forward so much. He gives you so much activity and intensity. He's great hitting the ball, good crosser of the ball. I think he's great for them to have him in that team. He got lucky on the second goal, and I'm not sure what McAllister is doing, turning his back on it. But the first goal is a nice goal. And as we know, after his brace in 2020 at Anfield, he bought a dog for his mum, and they called it Anfield. So now they can have a brother for him.
Yeah, every 2 goals, more dogs. Yeah, makes sense to me. Alexander Isak finally made his debut. This was a slow burn. Obviously, it looks like he still needs to fit in, but this whole idea of his fitness, I think he played over an hour.
57 minutes.
He looked fine to me on the pitch in terms of his movement. Maybe, obviously, the chemistry is not there yet, but movement looks fine.
Although I thought him and Wirtz kind of find each other quite easily. He had to wait 10 minutes before touching the ball the first time, which is a long time. In that time, Liverpool were 2-0 up and Mo Salah had been tearing apart the Atletico defense. But it will come. It's just I'm not sure he can repeat, games at high intensity for now without a risk of being injured. So I don't think he will start the derby on Saturday, for example. I think Ekitike is going to come back in the team for that. But I thought for debut, it looked pretty good already, and that's scary because he's just going to get better and better.
If I were unkind, I would say Mo Salah also made his debut on Wednesday night, so penalties aside, but hey, I won't be. What was interesting, and what we're going to, I think, need to break down further, is I've never seen Arne Slot be so open afterwards in terms of talking about how they need to find the balance, and that this team doesn't have the balance. And it's obvious to people, and it's to do with the late goals and needing the comebacks and the fact that on paper this team is very attacking. So we're going to break all of this down on the Gab Juls podcast. Jules, in all the excitement, I realize I have not mentioned the guy who scored the winning goal for Liverpool, who's a pretty important player for them. It's Virgil van Dijk. I just want to say, like, captain does what captain's supposed to do, leader, late goal. And because I'm in a repenting mood, I will come out and say Van Dijk will forever be one of those things I got really, really badly wrong. I've gotten many things badly wrong, but Van Dijk, maybe because he's so large, is one of the worst things. I thought he was the wrong signing for Liverpool.
Really? At the time?
At that price, yeah.
Wow.
At that price, yeah. The fact that he was a late developer.
Yeah.
All these things pointing in that direction. I would not have spent that much money on him, but I was completely wrong. So I just want to put my hands up again. I mean, it's not. And I'm not wrong as of today because you scored this goal, but I've been wrong for the last 3-4 years, really, probably since the second season at Anfield. But let's go back to this balance discussion. So I don't know if anybody asked Slot if Milos Kerkez is on the naughty step or if it was simply a question of right now at this time, he doesn't feel comfortable in the name of balance to play Frimpong and Kerkez together. So obviously Kerkez taken off after 38 minutes. We talked about it at the weekend for Andy Robertson after he took a dive and so on. In this game, we saw Robertson back in there and we saw Frimpong at right back. I guess it's more balanced because Robertson at this stage of his career is more defensive, although weirdly he started out as a winger, just like Frimpong.
Yeah.
Is this something that, like, do you think there will ever come a day where you can play the front four and Frimpong and Kerkez?
Yeah, there'll be teams where they can do that. The thing with Robertson is that I watch him again on Wednesday night, and I still think he's far away from his best form, and I'm just not sure. I think it was certainly on Wednesday night an area where Atletico Madrid, who went not very good on the night, despite the 2 goals that they scored, were trying to exploit was Robertson. In behind, even in one-on-one, he's not the player, obviously, that he's used to be at his age. Frimpong defensively, as we know, is a very attacking fullback. So already, even without talking about the balance of the team, Gab, the balance of that line of 4, whether it's Kerkez at left back or Robertson at left back, has a lot of work to do with it. I think Konate can cover a lot of what Frimpong will do going forward, but maybe not everything. And Konate hasn't been at his best either since the start of the season. Virgil is Virgil, obviously.
Although Virgil too, if you look on the first goal, it looks like Virgil gets caught. Now it could be because somebody else doesn't make doesn't make the defensive movement, but he is in no man's land.
Yeah, absolutely, all over the place.
And a defense is a collective, right? And he's the leader of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And then there's obviously the question of that midfield, McAllister being not at his best. We said that.
Not McAllister yet.
Yeah, still maybe not fully fit, or certainly even if he's fit, he's just not the player that he was last season. Gravenberch is exceptional, but again, defensively, he's always been not as good than what he does on the ball in terms of carrying the ball forward, etc., etc. And then you used to have Szoboszlai there as your third midfield, who offers you a lot, even defensively, by just the running and the effort. And I think Wirtz is trying to do that, but Wirtz is a very different player to Szoboszlai, so you've lost that bit too. And yesterday, for example, the Szoboszlai Gravenberch midfield is very good at times in a game, but again, defensively has limitations, and that's why I think the balance is a problem there.
And I don't know how you fix it. You can wait for McAllister to get back to his best.
Probably, yeah.
I mean, Gravenberch for me, I take your point that the defensive side of the game is kind of new to him, but he's done it all of last season. He's learned it. It's a lot easier to do when you've got 2 real midfielders alongside you compared to Florian Wirtz. For me, the issue remains further forward because Salah won't be able to, hasn't been providing the defensive cover that he has offered in the past. Gakpo on the right, I think that's pretty evident. Gakpo on the left, fine. Even though, again, he's not at his best right now, but I think he's reached a point where I think Gakpo, even when he has a bad game on the ball, or not that he did last night, but he still provides you that effort.
Yeah.
And then if you're going to play Isak up front, you got to wait for him to settle. And so you will naturally not have that. I stick to my prediction that at some point we may see either Isak in a wide position, which obviously he's played earlier in his career. Maybe it's Isak and Salah with Wirtz in a Bobby Firmino type role, or Wirtz on the left, or something. I think that's where he's going to have to turn, because he knows they cannot keep doing this. He knows they cannot keep getting pegged back, because those are 2 points dropped. I mean, we're talking about them. Oh, look, they have 5 points. Yeah, they've won they're 5 for 5, right? In terms of performance, they could just as easily have 2 wins and 3 draws right now.
Yeah.
I mean, the Arsenal game is another one, right? Where, stuff happens at the end.
Yeah.
So I think he needs to fix this. I think they were really actually, despite what they said, oh no, we're fine with Leone and Gomez. I think they were hoping that he might have at least had that option of a third center back in certain situations, just to give you that defensive platform, which would have allowed you to play Kirkes and Frimpong. He has to figure this out on the fly, and he has to figure it out while playing twice a week, which isn't easy.
Yeah.
He can do it, but it's not easy.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to what happened at the end of the game. Diego Simeone, absolutely infuriated with the fans behind his bench. Now, obviously, you can say, "Oh, well, England's different because the fans are so close to the bench." Yeah, but you know what? He's played in the Champions League a million years. Yeah. He's coached in the Champions League. He's used to this. He's played in England many times, right? He turns on the fan. Now, afterwards, I saw him. He talked about this quite a bit.
He gets sent off. Second yellow, gets sent off.
And he got sent off, yeah. On Sky Italia, where I saw him, where he was speaking freely, he said, look, you get insulted every game, and I just don't understand why I need to sit here and take it. There's no reason why you can't just celebrate. And I'm really conflicted about this, because I will always be on the side of the fans who pay their ticket.
Yeah.
I also feel, and maybe I'm also biased because I saw what the guy looks like who he was so angry with. I don't feel like, what do you need to do that? Did Simeone do something to annoy you before?
Yeah, I don't know. There would have been some frustration amongst Liverpool fans who've been 2-0 up after 5 minutes, and then having been paid back to 2-2, you could feel it in the atmosphere. So, I mean, you see if you look at the whole clip, there's a lot of hand gestures from that fan, and clearly insult with F-bombs and everything you want. But like you said, it's not the first time, not the last time that El Cholo would be insulted like that, in Spanish, in English, in whatever languages, in Italian, in
Just about every professional footballer goes through this.
Yeah, exactly. And I still think you're a public figure, you're an example, you should not react to anything. I know it's difficult sometimes, so I can hear him when he said, why should I take it and just sit down here and take it? But I don't think you should retaliate like he did. It was a mistake. But I don't think fans, like you said, should do things like that either, really.
Yeah, Cholo, the reason you should take it is because you're Diego Simeone. You have achieved things that this guy, who gets his jollies from behaving like this, will never achieve in his life. You're a better person. You've contributed more. You've achieved more. You're going to get on a plane and you won't see this guy, hopefully again, ever.
Yeah.
And that's why you should take it. From the perspective of the guy, I'm not saying you can't insult. I mean, there's a consensus, right? When fans abuse, there are limits, and there's a consensus, and we've decided no racist abuse, no territorial discrimination, no homophobic abuse, and it's time we agree on that. Continually giving the guy the finger and getting in his ear and blah, 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 that's not, I don't want to say it's accepted, but it's something that's not sanctionable.
Yeah.
And maybe it shouldn't be sanctionable. I still think if you can't celebrate a winning goal, your team scoring in the final minute final seconds to get 3 points without having a personal go at the opposing coach, you got issues, man.
Yeah.
And he took to social media, right?
Yeah, apparently
Johnny Porter, is that his name?
Yes, apparently saying that he didn't say anything racist.
Did anybody say he said anything racist? No.
I don't know, yeah. Okay. But then he said he was spat at by one of the assistant coaches or somebody from the staff.
Okay, so...
I don't know.
Part of me says it's surprising this doesn't happen more often. I think, but like you said, I think if you're a professional, you tend to brush it off. But it's not nice behavior to see, and I think it's unlike what we often get at football grounds. All right, enough Liverpool. How about some quick hits instead?
Yeah, let's go, Gab.
Real Madrid have to come from behind at home to Marseille as Kylian Mbappe converts 2 penalties and Dani Carvajal gets sent off.
Yes.
Jules, Roberto De Zerbi said he was proud of his team. Is that an odd thing to say when you give up 3.74 expected goals and you play the last 20 minutes of the extra time?
Yeah, no, I don't think it's odd. I think I can see his point. They were brave. I think that they tried to build from the back and beat the Real Madrid press. That was not that intense and not that efficient, but still a good, decent press, to be fair. But they could have been 2-0 down within 10 minutes. Probably easily, maybe even 3. They give away 2 penalties. The first one is a legit one, Kondogbia on Rodrigo. The second one is never a penalty in a million years. But that was against that. I mean, I don't know what Medina is supposed to do with his arm. He tackles the ball and then the ball bounces off his arm that is on his side.
They've given several like that, and it just doesn't quite feel right. I think they saw a movement towards the ball.
Yeah,
but he's not in control of his body. But he can't be because he's...
Yeah, that's the momentum. Yeah. I mean, it's the first time, not the first time, but that both the media from the 2 countries of the 2 Champions League teams actually agree on something. You know, sometimes Real Madrid get a penalty of Barcelona and the Spanish press saying, yeah, that was definitely a penalty, and the French press saying, like, there was never a penalty, this is a bad call. Now, everybody was saying this should not have been a penalty.
Did you check Real Madrid TV?
Well, I don't
know about
all
that.
The newspapers, even the Madrid-based newspapers were quite in agreement. It's a shame that when they were 11 against 10 after the Carvajal red card, Marseille didn't do more with the ball, although they had chances. This Real Madrid team, you can get at them. They still lack balance. Huijsen and Militao, I'm still not too convinced defensively, but Kylian Mbappe saving the day again.
Yeah, Dani Carvajal should have known better, of course. I like the way the referee sent him off, very, very kind of calmly, talking to him and say, like, look, you're not going to get away with this in the age of VAR. Geronimo Rulli, you're a big wuss for the way he went down. Like, that's just silly.
I'm not even sure there's contact. It's the intent, I guess.
Vini on the bench again. And Gustavo Hoffman, our colleague from ESPN Brazil, has a story on this. He goes with Rodrigo. I get the sense that he's happy to alternate Vini and Rodrigo on the left side, especially because Franco Mastantuono is just a monster on the other side.
Yeah, but I think Xabi said after the game, there's a lot of games, I'm going to rotate. This is the way it's going to be. Yeah. So that's it.
This time, 12 months ago, he believed he had won the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say. This is a big, big fall from grace. And it's interesting that Xabi Alonso feels so empowered so early on to take the stance.
Harry Kane is on fire, Gab. 10 goals in 6 games already this season in all competition, including 2 in Bayern's 3-1 win over Chelsea. Enzo Maresca said they deserved more.
No, I don't. I love Enzo, but I think he's wrong on this one. You can blame individual errors, but individual errors happen because your players aren't as good as the other people. Chalobah had a really, really rough night.
Yeah.
There's still that Cole Palmer dependency that we talk about. Enzo Fernandez still blowing hot and cold. Dude, you cost $100 million. You're supposed to be the other leader on this team. So, I mean, sure. Good day of sneak the draw. Yeah, but I thought Bayern outplayed them on the night.
Yeah, especially in the second half.
Paris Saint-Germain stomp all over Atalanta, winning 5-0, and with Speedy Barcola missing a penalty along the way, too. Jules, is it rude to say that Juric is no Gasperini? And if Gonzalo Ramos can't start with 2 forwards out, when can he start?
Yeah, it's a good question. I'm 4-0. I'm glad you gave us an extra goal.
Well, I was counting it by the speed.
Yeah, fair enough. But to be fair, it should have been 7 or 8. They were that good. The first 25 minutes was the PSG of last season, or second half of last season. They were incredible. The way they beat the press, the intensity, the movement, the fluidity, everything. They missed a lot of chances. Juric is no Gasparini, but we kind of knew that, really. And for Gonzalo Ramos, Mayulu started, young Mayulu, because they knew that Atalanta would press really high, or certainly try to, and they felt the movement of Mayulu was more suited to beat that press than Gonzalo Ramos, who's more of an old school number 9, even if he's got good feet.
He still got his goal anyway.
Yeah, exactly, at the end. So I was happy. My boy Marcus Thuram scores 2 headers and Inter rolled to an away win at Ajax. Gab, some relief for Christian Kivu?
Before I answer that, I forgot to say, Ademola Lookman, come back soon. Bergamo needs you. You can move in January. A lot of relief for Christian Kivu because what I liked about this is he stuck to pretty much the same 11 that we saw at the weekend, for which he was criticized against Juve in the 4-4. I mean, minor changes, the Fry coming in. And obviously there was no Lautaro Martinez, but Francesco Pio Esposito, I thought, was really, really good up front. The Italian Edin Dzeko, perhaps. Let's not get carried away. But yeah, Thuram, who, by the way, wasn't exactly known for his headers. The guy can jump tall buildings. Did you see who
marked him?
What?
Did you see who marked him twice? Klassen. Well, why would you put somebody who's 1.79 against a guy who's 192?
So I was impressed. Obviously, when you jump off 1 foot, you jump higher. I was impressed. One of those headers, he was like 2.26 meters in the air, and he's jumping with both feet. But yes, it helps when it's up against David Klassen. Jules, we're not done because we have more quick hits.
Yes.
Late goals from Leandro Trossard and Gabriel Martinelli. Great name, great initials.
Yes.
Give Arsenal a 2-0 win away to Athletic in Bilbao. Jules, in all the Eze, Madueke excitement, some may have forgotten these two are still around.
Yeah, and they were very impactful, obviously, a goal and an assist each after they came on. Depth in the squad again, Arteta's coaching too, to a certain extent. I thought Arsenal were not bad before that point. I know there were a bit of criticism around their performance in that game and the lack of creativity maybe. But I thought they were solid, which was important considering they were without, I guess, their 3 best players in Odegaard, Saliba and Saka. So it was a good win away from home to start the competition.
When Odegaard's not there and when Neri doesn't start, which is fine, he didn't start in this game, the only other creative player. I mean, when I look at this, in terms of the creativity against a team that's well-disciplined, it's going to come from Eze.
Yeah.
And if Eze's not switched on that game, if he doesn't have, because he can't be outstanding every game, then I think that's what you run into. But good substitutions, maybe a bit lucky on one of the goals. But I think these two guys can play a big part.
Wild times in Turin, Gab. Juventus come from 2 goals down in injury time to draw 4-4 with Borussia Dortmund, with all 8 goals coming in the second half.
Okay, entertainment central here, because it was 0-0, as you said.
Pretty bad that first half.
So, okay, a couple of things. First of all, Borussia Dortmund. I thought you had stopped being Borussia Dortmund, but no. You want to remind everybody, we are 2 goals away from home. We don't need to keep defending. And I'm talking about you, Marcel Sabitzer, and you, Jan Kuto. I mean, seriously.
I know.
If you're Kovac, what do you do with these two guys?
Even the third goal, they give the ball away when they're really trying to play from the back. It's silly.
It's so terrible. I mean, again, I don't want to take any away from Juventus. I will praise Juventus in a minute. Also, Rami Bensebaini on the penalty. What, you're going to argue with Guirassy?
Well, no, he's the taker.
This is fine, but don't be a baby. You may be the paper. You know how bad it looks when they start arguing on the pitch?
Why is Guirassy trying to take the penalty?
No, because I like Guirassy and I don't like
he's
Bensebaini.
not. The taker is
I agree with you, but again, if you're Kovac, you take both of them aside, especially Guirassy. If this is true, if it is,
you could see Kovac saying to Bensebaini, "Rami, you take it. You can read it on his lips," and then Guirassy didn't want to let the ball.
You got to have a conversation with Guirassy. Then I don't care if you scored more goals than anybody else in Europe since 2023, not named Kylian, Harry Kane, or Erling Haaland. Yeah, let the other dude have the ball. But on the Juve front, all right, Kenan Yildiz, that goal.
Incredible.
He is Del Piero. He is the reincarnation of Ale Del Piero, that goal, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That was tremendous. I feel totally vindicated of Dusan Vlahovic.
I thought of you when
all the haters. Sesko, Gyökeres. Oh, yeah. Hey, good. Yeah. Okay. Hey, enjoy those guys, right? While Dusan stomps all over you.
To be fair, even for Juve to have signed Openda and Jonathan David.
Yeah, they didn't believe in him either. You know who believed in Dusan? Dusan and me.
Did you know that Kenan Yildiz and Karim Adeyemi went to the same school? Yildiz was the year below, but they were in the same school playing on the playground. I mean, it's pretty cool. Imagine being on that playground, when they do the teams, and then you've got Adeyemi and Yildiz in the same team, and I don't know, at 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, it was like, okay. Pretty cool.
And obviously, Yildiz's case, one who got away from Bayern Munich.
Bayern, of course,
And then finally, Lloyd Kelly, the guy who never scores.
Incredible.
He scores in consecutive games.
Yeah.
Although, if you're Lloyd Kelly, you send a bunch of flowers to the Dortmund defense for that.
Yes.
I think it's phenomenal from Juve. I like this Juve scoring a lot of goals. Obviously, they can defend better. But you know what? They've got such a buzz going with Igor Tudor. And you had some weird stat I heard you say on television about Tudor and Kovac.
Yeah, 25 years ago in September 2020, September 2000 even, Hamburg played Juve in the Champions League group stage at the time. He finished 4-4 and Igor Tudor scored for Juventus that night with a hat-trick Pippo Inzaghi as well. And Niko Kovac scored for Hamburg. So the two managers from Tuesday night scored when they faced each other 25 years ago in another 4-4 draw.
I think this is a weird cosmic convergence, which explains how wild this game was.
Yeah, exactly.
How about that Karabakh, Jules?
Oh.
They come from 2 goals away to Benfica to win 3-2.
And you know what? They deserved it as well. So it's not a lucky win. They were 2 goals down after 20 minutes or so. And they came by. They were the better team after that. They play with verticality. They've got good runners. They've got a few Brazilians who can play. They've got Zubir, who played in France for so long. You would have never said that at 33 years old, he would be one of the best players on the pitch, like he was on Tuesday night for Karabakh against Benfica. I like that team. They've got Kurbanov, their manager, who's been there 18 years, man. He's the longest serving manager in the Champions League. And yeah, it's just great. And good luck to anybody who's going to have to travel to Azerbaijan, by the way, to play at their home stadium.
Yeah, all those people are boring. It's always the same teams, blah, blah, blah. You know what? You beat a pot 2 team away from home and you got 3 points in the bag.
In your first ever Champions League match.
In your first ever Champions League match. And on top of that, when people come to your house, it's going to be the second longest away trip. You're really, really well paced. Do not screw this up, Karabakh.
No. And Benfica defeats that night cost Bruno Lage his job, and everything points to you know who returning to Benfica after 25 years.
Yes, the master of the dark energy.
Are you surprised
Mourinho.
he would go back there?
I don't know. This story was okay, so he's being backed by one of the candidates for the presidency, but the other candidate is Manuel Rui Costa.
Yeah, who's the
most gifted footballer I've ever seen, certainly top 5. But the other one's backing Ruben Amorim, who is kind of funny. Is it a job? But whatever. If you want to get conspiratorial, of course, Benfica knocked Fenerbahce out.
Yeah.
Managed by Mourinho. And then 19 days later, he's back in the fold. I don't know what to expect.
That would be fun, though.
It's going to be very different at Fenerbahce and at the other clubs he's been in. Obviously, they could bring in players. He could build teams. Benfica, like Sporting, like Porto, are clubs that their best talent. They move them on for a fee, and then they replace it with younger talent. So it's a challenge. This is where it all began. By the way, the story, I think it's worth retelling. So he was an assistant to Bobby Robson at Barcelona.
Yeah.
Benfica sacked their manager, I think it was Jupp Heynckes, in September of 2000. So they called him over, and he was there for 11 games. And then the president changed, and he went to the new president and says, well, you didn't want me. You wanted somebody else. So I need a show of support, and I need a new contract right now, or I'm going to resign. President's like, dude, you've literally only managed 11 top-flight games. You should be thanking me that you're at Benfica. And what does he do? He resigns.
And the rest is
history. Goes on to Union Liera, wins the Champions League a couple times.
Who's
the treble.
Who the next game for Benfica in Champions League is against?
Chelsea.
Where at Stamford Bridge.
At Stamford
for
Bridge.
Jose to go back there. It's amazing.
And the last game in the group, it's Real Madrid.
Yeah.
There you go. Luis Junior's early blunder gives Tottenham a 1-0 win over Villarreal even.
Yeah.
I wasn't particularly impressed with Spurs. I thought Villarreal deserved more. Am I wrong?
It was the worst game of the Tuesday and Wednesday night in Champions League. It was so bad. You would fall asleep watching it. Early blunders, you said, terrible own goal. And then not much from Spurs and a bit more, I guess, from Villarreal, although all through Nicolas Pepe, who had one free kick and a shot just across, just a curl around the wrong side of the post. But yeah, terrible game. Manchester United announced their financial result, Gab, recording a record £666 million in revenues, which sounds appropriate.
Yes, because 666, of course, as Revelation 13:18 tells us, is the mark of the beast. Satan and Manchester United are the Red Devils. That wackiness aside, look, they've made so many cuts. Their wage bill has actually, for the first time in the Premier League era, the wage bill is lower than Arsenal's. They are now fifth in the Premier League, according to reports. A lot of this has to do with the fact that, a lot of players take automatic wage cuts because they failed to qualify for the Champions League or indeed for Europe. It's weird to me. It's like he's trying to restructure the club in a way that it can continue to make money while not being very good, which is something the owners, who's not him, but the majority owners are the Glazers, would probably absolutely love. So, whatever. More power to you. Sticking with United, Lisandro Martinez is back in training after being out in eternity. Jules, does he move the needle?
Is he better than Luke Shaw? Yeah, probably when he's at his best. But is that where the problem is? I don't think so for United. I don't know when he'll be ready to play. Is he ready to play on Saturday against Chelsea? I'm not sure. But it's good news, of course. You want your best players available. I'm just not sure he's a game changer.
Not just them, but Lisandro Martinez too.
Barcelona, we're hoping to be back at the Camp Nou this weekend for the clash with Getafe. Looks like they will have to wait a little bit longer, Gab.
Yeah, they're really annoyed. They were hoping to open part of the stadium, at least bring in 27,000 fans, because obviously they need money, and this is box office stuff. It looks like they've not been issued the safety certificates. I am not an architect. I am not a stadium safety guy. I have no idea who's right or wrong. But obviously safety has to always come first. At least there's no concert at Montjuic, which means that they can play there and not at the Johan Cruyff Mini-Stadi. Back to the Champions League. PSV Eindhoven get boshed at home by Union Saint-Gilloise 3-1. Jules, you can either mock one of our favorite Dutch bald managers for the umpteenth time, or you can celebrate El Hadji's wonder goal, or both.
Yeah, I mean, poor defending again. But yeah, great. I promised David with the first goal as well. I thought Union Saint-Gilloise were just good and great fun to watch, which is nothing new. They are, despite losing their best player every summer, the best players every summer, they keep finding great replacement. Their scouting is great. They're obviously owned by Tony Bloom.
Although he's a minority shareholder these days.
Shareholders, right. And Brighton. But yeah, great performance. Peter Bosz, I don't know if they took that game for granted. Saibari with a big miss that could have maybe changed the dynamic of the game too.
And Pepe giving away that penalty.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Come on, these guys come. You don't just blindly do that.
It was a terrible performance overall for PSV. But well done to Union Saint-Gilloise. First ever game in the Champions League. Not like Karabakh that I mentioned earlier, it was the first in this format, but they played in 2017 for Union Saint-Gilloise. First time ever, and was like an amazing win to start with. Slavia Prague go 2 goals up at home against media darling Bodo Glimt from Norway, only to get pegged back to 2-2, Gab. This was wild as well.
Yeah.
Great game.
So Slavia, okay. And the reason I have max respect for Bodo Glimt, because they're a small club. They've done exceptionally well. They reached the Europa League semifinal last year. But maybe because they have a very good PR operation, everybody knows the Bodo Glimt story, right? And they keep going on about, Bodo Glimt, this is fantastic. Yeah, Bodo Glimt. Okay. Bros, in this game, you screwed up. You done screwed up. Slavia, and by the way, I mean, Czechia has a tremendous tradition in Europe, and I like seeing some of these teams. And it looked like the stadium was absolutely banging.
Yeah, always.
And they go 2-0 up, and Bodo miss a penalty. In the end, they come back and they score that dramatic equalizer to make it 2-2. But I kind of feel like, yes, these are both underdogs. On this night, I wanted the other underdog, that's not wealthy for within the realm of underdogs from a wealthy country. But so no, I'm not having a go at you, Norwegians, even though I like to remind people you are the cutter of Europe, thanks to your monarchy and thanks to your gigantic sovereign wealth fund. But yeah, for me, the underdogs here were Slavia Prague.
Yeah.
And I'd love it if they both got through.
Great goal, though, from Fett to make it 2-2.
Tremendous. Plenty minnows impressing Jules, like Paphos.
Yeah.
They were founded just 11 years ago. They played more than an hour with 10 men away from home against Olympiacos. And so I know Mr. Marinakis will not be happy.
It was not a good evening for Marinakis. We mentioned his other club a bit later. But yeah, great performance from Paphos, who played with a lot of heart. David Luiz, who signed for them in the summer, who'd never played for them until Wednesday night, came off after half an hour. I'm still not sure if he was injured or if he didn't fancy playing with 10 men against 11 for an hour.
It's a lot of running around.
One of the two are 38 years old. But and you know what I would give them as well, Paphos, is that they could have hoofed the ball with 10 men and just got rid. but they always try to play a bit. They didn't do much with 10 men. It was a lot of the ball for Olympiacos, who had chances, who really should have won that game. But great heart and character from Paphos. I like that.
Paphos, okay, for those who don't know, Paphos are from Cyprus. And there is kind of a weird tradition of Cypriot clubs, even though Cyprus is a small country, not a great football team historically, although they are football man, but they're just little. We all remember Apoel.
Of course.
Coming from nowhere. Paphos kind of feels like the same thing. I want somebody to tell me the Paphos story properly, and not just the couple Wikipedia facts I chucked out there.
Gab, ball in play time has fallen significantly in the Premier League, and some are blaming long throws for it.
Okay, so it's gone from 57 minutes to 54 minutes 21. For those who don't know, ball in play time basically means how long is the ball actually in play for. So excluding sort of when the ball's whistled dead, after goals, throw-ins, set pieces, and so on. The goal is to have 60 minutes. That is kind of the gold standard. That's what referees aim for. What we've seen is it's gone down, and the injury time has gone up. And people are saying, well, they're blaming set pieces, and they seem to be blaming long throws because clubs treat long throws as if they're set pieces. I don't think it's just that. I don't think this explains this much.
I agree.
I don't think it's great that it goes down. Premier League traditionally has one of the higher ball and play times around Europe because Premier League referees tend to call fewer fouls. It's only been 4 games. Let's see where this goes. Everybody should be at 60, I think, or as close to 60 as possible.
Yeah, I agree.
And I go back to my idea. I would get rid of the running clock, and I would play 2 30-minute halves of ball and play. But hey, that's just me. Well, me and a lot of other people. It's not just the Champions League. We had early stages of the League Cup as well. Aston Villa and Nottingham Forest both have been knocked out. More woe for Unai Emery and especially Mr. Marinakis because he's the one who pays the bills.
Yeah, that's right.
Unai Emery gets paid. Mr. Marinakis pays.
They lost away at Brentford on penalties after it was 1-1 at the end of the 90 minutes where they took the lead with Harvey Elliott, his first goal. But were not very good again on the night. I thought Brentford played well, certainly to come back in it. And then, the penalty it was the penalty shootout. And it's another bad news, I think, for Villa. At least they've scored a goal, which is good because they were the only one in the top 8 leagues in England to have not scored a goal yet. So they have now, albeit not in the Premier League, but still a bad evening again for Unai Emery.
And Forest losing to lower division opposition.
Swansea. From the Championship after being 2-0 up and still 2-1 up in added time, considering 93rd, 97. Ange Postecoglou doing Ange Postecoglou. Crazy man management. If you watch that game, that second half, where Forest were the better team, but just the way they concede those two late goals. 3 goals in the second half is just not acceptable, really. And maybe Ange hasn't changed that much,
And also I think to play Ange, surely you need to train it and stuff. He hasn't had the time to do that. So maybe go in a little more conservative early on.
I don't know. He said after the Arsenal defeat on Saturday that the team, he would have put his imprint on the team already by this game on Wednesday. Well, clearly
how does he do that? Just by showing up? You need training sessions. You need time to work, right?
Yeah. Gab, you gave Jason Aito some stick when he was Arsenal's interim sporting director a few months ago. Now he got the job at Brighton. And everybody says how smart they are. So what do you have to say now?
Okay, so I gave Jason Aito stick because like a lot of people, I connected dots, rightly or wrongly. Last January, Gabriel Jesus was out. There's no other striker. We've spoken about this a million times. No other striker on the books. Kai Havertz is, of course, the best on earth. Yeah. However, he could get injured. And he did get injured 7 days later, and he didn't bring in a striker, and it was Ollie Watkins or bust. I'm not giving Jason Aito... I'm not just giving him stick for it because Jason Aito, when he was in that interim position, he had been Edu's assistant before. Yeah. He's not the big boss of the club. He does the transfers, but he does them together with whoever the chief executive was at the time. Was it Garlic? Yeah. And together, most of all, with the manager, Mikel Arteta. So somewhere among the 3 of them, and maybe only the 3 of them know the truth, it came out that it's Ollie Watkins. Can we get Watkins? It's only Ollie. It has to be Ollie Watkins. They don't get Ollie Watkins. They don't get Ollie Watkins. Kai Havertz get hurt. We're treated to Mikel Merino and Leandro Trossard and people like that up front. Arsenal don't win the Premier League. Arsenal get knocked out of the semifinals in the Champions League. I know those 3 people. the one who leaves the club, who does not get the sporting director job because it goes to Andrea Berta, is Jason Nato.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming there's some accountability there. This is viewed from the outside. But he's obviously respected because he was interviewed by Newcastle, didn't get the job. They chose Ross Wilson as well. And yeah, we're used to talking about Brighton as if they're the smartest people in the room. If they took him on board, they obviously see the value on him. Good luck to him.
That's a great
that he can go and choose. But I just want to reinforce when I don't want to say no sporting director, because there are a couple who are close to omnipotent. One of them is at Aston Villa, in fact, Monchi. But generally speaking, it is a communal decision.
Yeah.
And when you look at transfers, you have to always understand that there's a club position, there's a sporting director position. The sporting director always looks medium term and long term. And there's a manager position, and managers inevitably generally think short term. And I think that's kind of the triangle. And anyway, Jason Nato, good luck. I just wanted to explain your job is difficult, and sometimes you get blamed for things that, maybe aren't entirely down to you. Jules, 1 point from 3 games, and Borussia Mönchengladbach part ways with their manager, Rico Suave.
They got battered at the weekend. He finished 14th and 10th in his first 2 seasons with them, which is not good enough probably for a club like Gladbach, even if they're not as good as they used to be, obviously, all those years ago. But we followed his career on the show because he's been in big clubs, and then he usually gets sacked, and it's not good enough. So let's see.
His music's good.
His music is good, you're right. And his name is cool. But that's about it, pretty much.
I just want to say this. If you fire your manager in September, it's not just the manager who should be fired. You as a club have screwed up.
You can make a mistake like Leverkusen and Ten Hag.
You had 2 seasons. No. But I'm saying is not Ten Hag.
Oh, no, sorry. Okay,
so when you have a guy for 2 seasons,
yes, sorry,
they should know Rico Suave inside and out.
Absolutely.
And decide, is he right for us?
Yeah.
And if you go and you run a whole transfer campaign, presumably, based on what Gerardo Sana wants to do and what he needs and so on, to then sack him in September just puts you in a terrible position. Whoever you bring in, now you're stuck and you're kind of hitting the reset button. If you do that, you hit the reset button. You hit the reset button in June, not in September.
Definitely. Juan Mata, obviously, likes it down under, Gab. After his season at Western Sydney Wanderers, he moves to Melbourne Victory.
Yeah, this is just an excuse to talk about Juan Mata, who we absolutely love, absolutely adore. I will tell you a story which I may have told before or not.
It's the one that you tell every time we talk about Juan Mata, but go on, because for new listeners...
yes. I was once asked to procure a signed Juan Mata shirt for a charity auction at a school. It was going to be one of the prizes. So it was in charity. It was a lottery. I also bought tickets to the draw, and I won the shirt, and I felt kind of stupid because I'm like, okay, this is kind of weird. So what did Juan Mata do? He then supplied another shirt, which we then auctioned again together with the original Juan Mata shirt. So he's just a class act. What can you say about it?
He's the best.
And weirdly, there's a group called people know about how, his pledge to donate part of his can't remember if it was 1% or 3% of his annual earnings to various charitable causes. Other footballers, other athletes have taken up that pledge. He's also an investor in the Mercury Group, which is this fund that only invests in women's sports.
Yeah.
I don't know how he has time to do all this stuff, but good luck to him. And I will watch Melbourne Victory on YouTube simply because he's there. Barcelona's all-conquering women's team seems to be breaking up, Jules. A lot of players with just a year left, not much talk of renewals, and among them, Alexia Putellas.
Yeah, I think PSG, I don't know how hopeful they were, but trying to get a deal there and recruiting her. She's got 1 year left on her contract. I think her release clause is €1 million. I don't know, she doesn't want to leave. I don't think Barcelona really want to sell her now, to be fair. So as much as I love how audacious this was from PSG to try to get her to replace Gueye, I don't think it's going to happen.
But the reality is, it's not just her. There's a lot of other players, Caroline Graham Hansen and whatnot, Sama Pariguelo, who have a year left. And their contracts aren't being extended for now.
No, for now, yeah.
So Alexia might find herself in a situation where she becomes a free agent, or maybe they offer her the kind of deal that, she feels isn't worth what she contributes on the pitch. That's definitely a situation to monitor. Doesn't mean she won't be in the move next summer.
Our colleagues Lizzie Becherano and Moses Lawrence reporting that Leo Messi is nearing a multi-year extension at Inter Miami, Gab, that would keep him at the club beyond 2025.
I think this is kind of inevitable. If you're Lionel Messi, you're going to play in the next World Cup in the summer. It's not like, oh, look, my contract expires when Inter Miami get knocked out of the playoffs or fail to make the playoffs in October, and then I just kind of sit around until the World Cup, right?
Yeah.
We knew he was going to have another club. And do you want to move your family to another country at this stage in the run-up to what will probably be your last World Cup? No. So I think all this makes sense. I do think from the perspective of Major League Soccer, and you can't help but talk about business because that's all they talk about, valuations and numbers and this and that. There are other stars in MLS now. He may be the greatest of all. You got the bump from him. Let's not obsess over Lionel Messi from a pushing MLS perspective. Let's focus on just being solid, on doing the basics to continue to build our league and make it relevant, and start by improving the football. And I mean, the fan experience is fine. TV contract is a whole other kettle of fish. But I think it's good news. It's good news because if Messi doesn't have to move, then we'll probably see the best of Messi at the World Cup.
Yeah.
Jules, this brings us to an end. You're going to be back on Monday.
That's right,
I won't be. I'm taking a little trip across the pond. So until then, love the game, love your neighbor, love yourself.